How you doing, everybody? Welcome again to another episode of Axiom TV, the only broadcast and transmission in the world that is in the pursuit of truth. Hold on. Forgot to, I always forget to, there we go. Sometimes it takes my lips to adjust to the warm weather. Usually like around June, they're self-moisturizing, but it appears that they're still holding on to winter. Because it's on the mountain, we're used to my lips are used to what's up, Mr. Hogue? You know what I mean? Good to see you home, baby. You know what I mean? Can't keep a good man down. Good to see my boy Chris home. Free Justin Carr. Free Busey. Free Travis. Free free all my people locked up, man. You know what I mean? First and foremost, because you know what? This video is for those people. This video is for the people who've been told all their life that they're losers, that they're pieces of poop, and that they're not good enough, that they're low class, that they're not good enough with society. That's who this video is for. Today's topic is going to be value and your actual worth. I've got some talking points on this one, so excuse me if I look at notes. All right, the definition of value is use, an object's use, and an object's worth. And remember, I told you that we are so removed from reality due to all of our biases that we've been taught since children coming up to the point where we're adults, that we have a warped, distorted concept of value. So if you'll allow me, I'll try to explain natural value, nature's value, your ultimate value. Now, what do I mean by natural value? Natural value is, remember I said that every object in the universe, and object being even the wind, any aspect of the universe has a value, is a symbol, is an emblem. Just like you're in a video game, every part of the video game is has a value to it. And being that life itself is its own game on a higher level. I know it's hard for some people to grasp, but trust me, this is the reason why I tell you I'm ahead of the scientists, and the scientists are going to take forever to tell you, but they've already determined that there's a computer code behind the theory of string theory, and that we are in a simulation. You can Google that, YouTube that. All those scientists have already reached that point, but I'm surpassed them. We are in an actual sense game. Forget a simulation, because a simulation to me is like a screensaver, something that's automatically running over and over again. And the simulation would be the universe. Yes, that part would be the simulation. The universe and the earth, or the sun, or the moon. Those are platforms for the game to be performed on. And we are the players. Excuse me. We are the players, not just a character in the game, but we're also the players in the game. So overall life itself is a game of value. And that's the reality. I'll be happy to debate anyone on that, or if you have any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer those. But overall life is a game of value, and every symbol and object within the construct of the game, which is life, overall life, has a value. And when we start out life as a newborn, first off, you already have a value of price. In terms of human society, Your natural value is priceless. There is no human being that is worth more than the next. Now, if a human being chooses to be of no value, chooses to be worthless, then that is, and why I say worthless, that means not that they don't have a job or that they're not. It's remember, value, use, and worth. So when you're a human being, you have, all right, let's put it like this. Let me any to a predator, it's the particular food that it hunts, its food of choice, has a value to it. It has a high value. That is the reason why it puts in such exertion in order to try to attain the value of that prey. So prey has a certain value to a predator. And the predator has a certain value within the overall, meaning that, remember, value is also use, not just worth. So it's about how the predator goes about making use of its time that determines its value. Like, say, if it goes about hunting carelessly, then it did an action of very little value. Now, if it goes about hunting and it's done in a careful way, but the predator say doesn't get a kill in that attempt, that doesn't mean it didn't have value. If that predator doesn't learn the lessons of why it failed why it failed at that attempt to capture that prey, then yes, then it would be a careless value. And don't mind the pink ring. My chick got this as a gift, Easter gift from her mom. And you know what? I'm just man enough to do it. Remember, I don't let society determine my masculinity. Society does not chop off my genitalia. I have a penis regardless of if society or you say that, oh, Jay must be whatever because he has a pink ring. No, I know my value. I know my worth. So other people's opinion does not affect me because I know what my value is. Now, in terms of human society, our value and our worth, going back to how life is priceless. Each one of us, each of our lives, whether black, white, Chinese, Punjabi, Indian, Native American, Hispanic, and I don't know if I should, Latino, excuse me, there we go, Latino, because some people don't like to be called Hispanic, and I'm not here to offend. So, though some of my posts, some of these videos may seem offensive, really they're not offensive. Remember, in a society built on lies, the truth is going to be offensive. So, in terms of that, I can't let your feelings or your emotions be an obstacle or obstruction to truth, to me creating value for not just only myself, but I'm also, by creating these videos, I'm also creating value for those who watch it, so that they can take some value from it and go on and apply it to their lives and go about creating their own value. That is the whole purpose of making these videos. Notice in these videos, I'm not giving you information that you can't turn around and use. It's instant value the moment I give it to you. Like, if I'm telling you how, like, say someone like Bob Vila on This Old House, he teaches you, well, I don't even know if Bob Vila is on anymore, but This Old House, let's take the show This Old House. There's two guys that are still on it, the blonde haired dude with the curly hair and the other older gentleman. I used to just love Bob Vila being a part of that crew too, but those guys are creating value by showing you how to go about fixing things in your house or even building an overall house itself. They're showing you step by step. Now, if they just presented you with the foundation, and then just next scene they just show the house built, don't tell you how it was built, don't show you how it was built. They just show you the completed house after it started out from a foundation, then you didn't get any value from that. You see what I mean? Like, they didn't create any value for you. You didn't, by watching it, you didn't get any value from it because there was no value to be gained from it, unless you just wanted to see what a house looks like after it was just a foundation. So, and really there's no value in that either. So there's no point in there's no value to that. Now, in society, in human society, what we've established throughout the world, it's not just in America. I don't even care if a country says it's communist. I don't care if a country says it's socialist. In today's world, value is determined by an artificial metric that we call capitalism. We've been taught and bred to believe that our worth is directly attached and correlates to what's in our bank accounts, what's in our pocket, the things that we have, the clothes that we wear. They teach you that that's the reason they teach you that you're only as valuable as the brands that you wear. You know what I mean? You're only as valuable as the way you speak. You're only as valuable as how you're attractive, how your appearance. And I'm telling you right now that those are false narratives. Those are fallacies. That is not how value is determined. Those are a warped interpretation of actual value. Your actual value is how you use your time. That means all your actions, if they are not being put to creating value, a positive value, then it is deteriorating your cosmic worth, your worth to nature. Remember, I stated at the beginning of this video that overall life is a game of value, and everyone is priceless within human society. But human society, because they teach us to attach our value to financial metrics, capitalistic metrics, then we become warped. Our minds have become warped. We're taught that poor people or overall human life, that a human life has an actual capitalistic value to it. That being your net worth. That's what capitalism tells you that your value is, your net worth. And that is not true. It drove me crazy for years thinking that my value is determined by the things that I have, by the money that I'm able to make, and other artificial means of that nature. But instead, it is what you do with your time, how you go about making use of your time and your actions while you are alive, that determines your value overall. I've already told you that time is moving. Even at this moment, it is taking snapshots of every single action that I take, every thought that I am having. Time is actually freezing second to second, millisecond to millisecond. Each moment, it is not just one continuous, smooth running linear process. What it is time is already set, and you are at a point within that as you go through time and space. And while you're going through time and space, it's like what do you call that? When you're in a club, that light, that flashing light. Oh, I forgot that flashing light. The flashing light that when you're in the club. That's exactly what's going through. That's exactly what's happening as you're walking through time and space. It is taking. What's good, Starboy Richie? What how you doing? I just finished talking to family up in New York. You know what I mean? They're about to build up the house in Retreat. Ma Deers and Papa Deer, Ma Silber's house in Retreat. They're finally getting around to that. But let me get back to the value. Strobe light, that's what it is. As we go through time and space, a strobe effect is happening. The universe is taking a picture of each moment of our time. And this is for every action that's being done throughout the universe. And once again, don't take my word for it. Look up string theory. Look up the theories of time, of actual time. Brian Greene has an excellent video on this. Now, let me tell you why financial worth, actually our version of worth, which is financial, is artificial. Let's say someone's lazy, sits on the couch all day, does absolutely nothing of worth. They just sit on the couch all day, play video games. Just, you know what, I don't even want to assault video games. Let's just say that someone just is lazy, they do absolutely nothing, and they just sit in one place all day long. But let's say they won a lawsuit, or they hit the lottery, or they inherited a big windfall, financial windfall. Is that person valuable? No. That person has not made themselves valuable. That's an artificial value, a man-made value that has been assigned to that person. You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden, that person thinks, oh, because I can buy things now. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, their self-esteem comes up. It perks up a little bit. Because they feel like, oh, because I've got this financial windfall, I don't have to do anything. I'm valuable because society has told me, because I've gotten this money, then I'm valuable. Because I've got this high-paying job, that I'm valuable. That, remember, you can't take money with you when you die. So that automatically shows you that that's an artificial value. And the reason why capitalism has assigned value to your life instead of admitting that every life is priceless is because capitalism, remember, its foundation is exploitation. It is very difficult to exploit people if you tell them that they are priceless. You see what I'm saying? It's much easier to exploit someone if you tell them that they're born in sin, that they are that they should give them an example of a rich person and tell them this is what determines that what your value is. You need to get a job. You need to work all your life and work yourself to the bone. Notice when even notice that rich people or people with high salary jobs that still feel empty and unfulfilled. They'll have moments of that seem pleasurable, but then the moment that moment ends, right back to feeling horrible about themselves. That's the reason why rich people are always trying to make more money. That's why a person with a high salary job is always talking about, I'm not doing what I love. I need to change this. In fact, on my friend list, I have a pastor that was an insurance salesman that used to make big money, but he didn't find any value in that, any self-worth. He couldn't rationalize his self-worth. So he chose another path. He became a pastor in order to feel fulfilled. Because this is how human beings find real value. Helping people. I don't care if you're a killer. I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care if you're a serial robber. Whatever negative type of person you are. You know when you feel your best? After helping someone. Doing things for yourself alone, selfish things. You don't feel happy doing that. There might be a moment of pleasure, but pleasure and happiness are two different things. And we shouldn't value ourselves based on happiness. That's what capitalism puts in our heads. Oh, you need to be happy. You need to be happy. If we needed to be happy, nature would have made us, nature wouldn't have created, this is such a challenging, life, it wouldn't have made life so challenging. Nature wouldn't have wouldn't allow death as one of its functions. Nature wouldn't allow entropy and injury as one of its as part of its functions. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is the reason why we are not intended to be happy. That is a ghost that capitalism sets in front of us to chase, that none of us ever really catch. Because how long does happiness really last? When you're happy, you know what you're thinking of? Man, I know this is going to end. I know that this moment of happiness, this feeling of euphoria is not going to last. That's the reason why drug addicts, no matter how immersed in their high they are, what happens? It starts to fade. Even an artificial, pleasurable substance or pleasurable action, such as taking drugs or sex or engaging in sex or whatever it is, or thrill seeking, none of those things last. They all fade, if you notice. That's the reason why being happy is not the overall intention of life. That's not the overall value that we should be shooting for in life. The only time that you feel happy, or let me tell you, what it is that you need to feel fulfilled. That is what we should be chasing in life, is the value of fulfillment. Value is something that is resounding. Every time you go to it, you will get that same value. It will give you that same feeling that it gave before. It will give that same, I hate to keep going to that word, but value. It will give you that same quantity. Do I want to say quantity of value every time? So nature is always evaluating us. It is always quantifying us. But on the human level, we are always priceless, because nature is giving us a constant chance to increase our natural value, to increase our cosmic value. Because after we die, that is what we shall be judged on. And let me go into judgment real quick. A lot of people always tell you not to judge. Well, guess how you got to go through life in order to recognize and differentiate things? You have to judge. We're born judging. Our mind is a evaluating machine. We are constantly evaluating things. Even without language, we would look at a lion, we would look at a tiger, and we'd know that both of them are cats. That would be their common value as objects. But individually, as objects, their common value, they would not have a common value, because the lion is a different type of cat than the tiger. The tiger has stripes, the lion has a mane. They would be two. That would be how you separated the two based on their value. You see what I'm saying? But it goes even deeper than that. Then what is, so its worth would be, so both of their common worth would be lion or cats. But individually, the tiger, that would be its value because it has stripes. We would base that value on stripes. And the lion, we would differentiate it because based on its mane. But that is only that. Now it's what about the value of use. So you see, remember, there's varying degrees, levels of scale, levels, if you will. So the same goes with value. There's different type of values. There's not just your use, but your quantity. What are you quantified as an object? Now, as we go through life, it doesn't matter if you've spent your whole time. Let me go back to universal value real quick. Now, when the cosmos is evaluating you, and let's say someone dies, I know we have this thing about, oh man, I know he lived bad, but he's gone to heaven. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. First off, you're being evaluated individually, because that we are a social species that is supposed to be on not just on individual missions, individual, we don't just have an individual objective in life, but we also, our individual objective is usurped and is to benefit and complement the social value. That is what the cosmos is constantly evaluating us on. Remember, we're in a game of value, a game in which the challenges and traps are set. There are rules, there are tactics. Some tactics are negative, some tactics are positive. And that's the same thing with value. Not all value is the same. Some value is bad, meaning negative, it takes away from your overall value, and some value builds you up. Just like your power bar in a video game. And that's how you need to see life. Like it's a video game, only it's engaging all your senses. It's not just visually. So that's what determines your self-worth. When you know that you're going around helping someone, you don't have to be a billionaire. You will feel more fulfilled than that billionaire. Like let's take for example Donald Trump. The man has what society tells us is a beautiful wife. That's what he was taught coming up. You know what I mean? That's why he can point to his daughter. Or notice when he introduced his wife on the convention. Did you see what he did? I used to have a girlfriend that used to always say, "Don't treat me like I'm a trophy," and that's exactly what he was basically treating her like. Like, look at my trophy. She doesn't have to love me, but I am doing this to appear like I am valuable to you. This having a trophy wife, a statuesque trophy wife, what we claim is beauty, and I'll do a video on the fallacy of beauty and what actual beauty is later on. He's showing you, he's trying to appear to be of a certain standard of value, of that official value that we've been told. But is she really valuable? Is your value really determined on appearance? No. Appearance is only for us to be able to differentiate between objects. That's all that appearance is for. Appearance, I'll repeat that again. Appearance is solely us to differentiate between objects, whether it be each other or the trees, each different species, or the planet and other planets, or the air here and space itself outside of our atmosphere, or air and water. You know you see what I'm saying? Everything has its own individual assigned value as to what that object is. Now, what is the value of water? It's in its use. We know if we don't drink water, we go thirsty, cottonmouth, and if you're that prisoner that died under Sheriff Clark's care in Wisconsin, then we see that the value of water is a life-sustaining one. Same thing with the sun. We know its value. We know it's a big ball of fire, but its value to us is not only that it creates light for us to see during the daytime, but its value is also to provide energy to the food that we eat. So so you can have multiple value in your use as use. So when we go through life, don't let, because you're not a billionaire, you're not a millionaire, have you feeling, or you're in jail, or you're handicapped, or you're a certain race. Don't assign your value to those things. That's the reason why you have depressed white people. You're grown up taught that you're this superior race, but then as you grow through life, you realize, no, that can't be true. You know what I mean? Like, you realize like racism and tribalism can't be true because you realize that other white people treat you bad. Notice, it's not black people that talk down to white people. White people talk down to white people. Your own race is making you feel lesser than. You know what I mean? Like I told you before, my girlfriend turns the TV on, and she says she's fine until she turns the TV on. Then the TV is constantly making her feel bad about herself. They'll show you tiny sprayed up food that looks all glistening and glossy, and you're looking at your slice of pizza and wondering why your pizza doesn't look like that. Why does that pizza look like it's better, of a higher value than you? They'll tell you that, oh, the skinny girl. That's why you have skinny girls walking around talking about, oh, I'm pretty, based on society tells that's what their value is. Or you'll have girls that society tells them that they are beautiful, like Melania Trump, but what? They've heard all their life that, oh, your value is in your beauty, and they go through life feeling miserable because they realize, man, that's all I have to just do is just nothing, because they're born that way. Remember, the most they're doing is just putting on makeup. So they know that that can't be, but they go with it because constantly society is telling them, hey, you're beautiful, you're pretty. So they think that that's all they need to do in order to be valuable. And they go through life like that, and then they end up as gold diggers, just as people using people. And that's what builds their, it lessens self-worth. It takes away from their power bar. That's why you'll have pretty people being so miserable. That's why you have rich people being so miserable. They're not creating actual value. If anything, they're taking away from their value. I hope I'm making sense so far. So being rich is artificial value. That's the reason why I could give you $1 billion today. It's not going to make you happy. You can buy a whole bunch of things. It's not going to make you happy. That's the reason why you hate boredom. Because you need to be doing something. You know you're not creating any value. So we've been taught to, oh, well, escape boredom by running to excitement. But excitement's not creating value either. Excitement is a distraction. Excitement is entertainment. That's the reason why we'll run to loud music. We'll run to depression, believe it or not. We'll run to misery. We'll run to the television. We'll run to anything to take us out of boredom, not realizing really what we're trying to escape is not being valued. Really what we're trying to escape is a feeling of a depressed self-worth. A depression in our self-worth. No different than a sinkhole. You can drive over it. It seems like it's a valuable street because the road is maintaining its integrity, but the moment that sinkhole forms, it's lost its value as a road. It's no longer any use. Its use has been corrupted. You see what I'm saying? I hope I'm trying to speak plainly, because that's the reason. Because listen, there is no value in 4-syllable words. There's no value in what they tell you is smart. Every one of us is smart. Remember, each one of us is by nature, by nature's mandate, priceless. But in order to carry on our wars, in order to carry on our tyranny that we perform on each other as well as overseas, we have to convince, you had to be convinced that you are not valued, that your value is determined by your net worth and how much money you have. Money is paper. Let me just show you the value of money real quick. Easy. It's easy. I can show you the value of a flag, the value of a money. Let me show you all of that real quick and easy. This is the value of money. If all humans disappeared today and there was just money left on the planet with all the animals and the trees and whatever else, but all the humans are gone, what value is that money? Remember, you can leave the malls and the stores, leave those things there, but humans have disappeared, but the money's still there and the shops are still there and everything else. What value is that money to the animals? Can the air spend the money? Can an ant spend that money? No. You know what? The money is not valuable. You know who's valuable? It's us. It's you and me. Without us, money has no value. So, boom, boom. When they tell you that your life is not valuable, they are wrong. It is the money that is not valuable. The money needs you. You don't need the money to be valuable. Did I just prove that? You know what I mean? Here's another example. Let's say you're on a plane, right? You're Tom Cruise on the plane, and on that plane is Fort Knox. You got a Fort Knox sized vault of gold. On that plane, you've got a Bentley. On that plane, you've got $1 billion in cash as well. And you've got a suitcase full of diamonds, the biggest diamonds and rubies you've ever seen in the world. So you feel you're pretty good about yourself, huh? You're kicking up on your private jet, thinking, oh, life is sweet. I'm so valuable. I'm so rich. Boom. The plane goes tailspin. It crashes on a deserted island. You'll never be rescued. The Bentley, its tires are flat. The engine's blown. But you got all your diamonds. They're intact. The money hasn't been burned. You still got your $1 billion, and your vault of gold is still good. Now you're the only one on this desert island. What values those things? What value are those things? You see what I'm saying? And if you see, it's not until you're around other people that value that money or that gold or those diamonds begin to have value. And those people, let's say you run into a tribal guy on the island. Let's say there's this one tribal guy on the island. He's never seen money. He's never seen diamonds. Never seen gold. Or it could be a she. You still that stuff is still no value. He'll look at you and be like, or they'll look at you and be like, hand me that. That has no value to them. But if they're eating, you're there sitting next to your gold, your crashed Bentley, your diamonds, you're surrounded with these things. While the other people on the island who have nothing to do with money are eating coconuts, fishing, and let's say they have a hunted kill, they're roasting like a deer that they just killed, getting ready to eat it. Who's the billionaire now? Who needs who now? Do they need you, or do you need them? You see what I'm saying? So even when you're around other people with the money and all those artificial things that we've been told to value, unless that other person is participating in those things, it has no value. There is no real value to it. It's artificial. It's the same way I tell you about a flag. We want to get mad at Colin Kaepernick for sitting at a flag, but the flag is only cloth. It's cloth and thread. That's it. If you want to say, oh, what it represents my country, guess what? The country does not represent you. Remember I told you capitalism has no patriotism. Or your patriotic government wouldn't have sent your jobs over to China, wouldn't have sent your jobs over to Mexico, they wouldn't have sent your jobs to Vietnam, and they wouldn't have sent your jobs to India. And what their reason for doing so? Because American workers want too much in salary. So they pursued, instead the corporations pursued low paid labor. That's how much they love you. They pursued low paid labor because they didn't want to pay you the wage that you felt you were worth. That's the reason why when you work at a job, you know that you're working, putting in more exertion than you're being paid for it. If someone feels well compensated for their job, they feel good about that job. But when you realize that you're doing, which this is people that have a job, because this is capitalism after all, and the fundamental function of capitalism is exploitation, which is why you feel exploited at your job. You know that you are not being compensated fairly for the value that you are exerting out of yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's all 2 + 2 = 4. Like, And that's how we have to look at life. I was after I got out of jail, man, I had such a shattered self-worth until I realized, no, a girl that stuck with me through jail, through my time in jail. I had a newborn child. I said, no, dude, just because you don't have your material things anymore does not mean that you're not still valuable. I had people that were calling, writing, checking up on me. That made me feel valuable. I knew I was valuable to someone else. I knew they were concerned, so that means that I was of some kind of value to them. Now, when you have money, like my friend was telling me how a guy that he's done so much for, like I don't think my friend ever told this guy no once. I guess dude got in trouble this last time, and he said, yo man, I need a little money so I could go get a pack and pick myself up. So my friend, realizing that if I give him money, this guy is going to do something that is possibly going to put him in trouble. So my friend didn't want that guilt on his conscience. He was being a friend, a true friend. So instead of looking at it that way and remembering all the times that this guy did good for him, you know what this guy says? He completely disrespects this man, completely forgets all the good, valuable value that he brought to his life. Just starts calling him names. Oh, you're not my friend anymore. All because he said no to you once? Then that means you were just being capitalistic. You're not really valuing that person as a person for the bond that you've built. Instead, he was valuing him based on what he could do for him. That's the reason why I get mad at rappers talking about haters. Aren't you the ones that were making songs about, hey, look at my chain, look at me, I've got Bentleys and I've got these cars and I've got these pretty girls. Look at me. I heard Kanye West say it in a song one time. He said, but I know that if I stay stunting, meaning that he's showing off, then these loose women, let's call them that, will only want one thing. You see what I'm saying? Same thing that's the same energy they're putting out to the masses. So when you're going around into a poor neighborhood with your chain out, after you've been on video flashing money, talk about, look at me, you ain't got this, you haven't been to places I've been, you can't go to places I go and be around the people I'm around. How can you possibly think that you were going to get to walk through a poor neighborhood and that was going to go sweet? People do not respect you as a person if the message you're putting forth is that you're only worth in life, that they should evaluate you and value you based on what you have and what you can do, what you're able to do for them. That is the reason why Adrian Broner got shot at the other day. He thought that he could go back to his old neck of the woods, old stomping grounds, and just hang where he used to with the chain all out. And people aren't going to get mad. No, you're going around talking about, oh, I'm rich as whatever. Well, guess what? The economy is horrible for everyone. You've put out a message there saying I'm better than you simply based on my artificial value of money. Well, that person knows automatically, no, that can't be right. But since that's what you're saying, then I am going to take your value from you, your artificial value from you. And that's why you have robbery. That is why you have robbery. Because people have been taught that they can't get food without money. That they can't get items and the things that they need. If money was just assigned, and this is how the government tricks you. This financial system tricks you. They've assigned the things that nature automatically gave you, like land. There's no property ownership is a fallacy. Nature has assigned every creature this whole platform called Earth to share equally. Every creature that is on this planet, which we are the only creatures, proven by we haven't discovered any other creatures. Don't listen to people saying, what are the chances that there's not any other creatures in this vast universe, this big, vast universe? Hello. It's barely, we barely survive as a planet here. Remember, we're just in the right, perfect place, third planet from the sun. We happen to have just the right atmosphere, the only atmosphere to support life that we know of. We happen to be on a planet with water that's mostly water, even though most of it is not drinking water we can consume, but it has enough that we can consume. Everything is just right. That is why you know that this is not a coincidence. There is no accidents happening here. It's like playing Madden and saying Madden is an accident. Oh, that game was created by engineers. That game was schematic. They had schematics. They drew out schematics as to how things was going to work and how that game is supposed to go. You see, so it's already predetermined, but you get free will, if you will. You get choices as to how you go about playing that game before it finishes. The outcomes can be different each time you play it, but there's only so many outcomes that it can be. That is what I mean by things already predetermined. And as you go through the game, it's the value is, okay, toss the ball back to the quarterback, or the quarterback goes back to throw the ball. If he's sacked, he's lost value. If the running back is tackled for a loss, he's lost value. But if they get positive yardage, they've gained. You see what I'm saying? They've gained in value. And that's how we are view ourselves. We are not just the guy on the controller watching a player in the game. We are the controller and the player in the game, the character in the game. And as we go through that game, with time and space, we are to create value. We are to live up to our priceless value that nature assigned us at birth. Don't be blinded, and I know it's hard because you're constantly bombarded to think that your life is worth what society tells you it is. Clearly, that can't be the case, or there wouldn't be depressed white people. You see what I'm saying? Clearly, that can't be the case. The rich black person wouldn't feel like they need to make more. Clearly, that can't be the case, or the 1% of the 1% wouldn't keep feeling a need to gain more artificial wealth by having stock booms and boom busts. It's boom and bust for us. Actually, we're the bust. We get the bust end of the stick, and they get the boom all the time. Let's not forget Mr. Marizzetti, or Mazzuto, or whatever this gentleman's name was. Gray hair, real slick, real slickly tanned, nice suit. What we think is a nice suit. Guy that was running Countrywide. That led the nation's real estate into all these foreclosures and blight that we have around. Notice that's the reason why our system stays corrupt. While we, or the lower class, are given this false sense of value by being allowed to vote. As you can see, the popular vote means nothing. Your vote means nothing. I don't know if you've ever watched The Men Who Built America, but they even showed you in there where the robber barons such as Rockefeller, Carnegie, and J.P. Morgan were buying the presidency. They determined who were presidents based on their artificial wealth. The president was not running the country. They were running the president. Are we really naive enough to think that that has changed? If I think Elizabeth Warren is who it was that did an interview the other day. They were talking about Obama receiving $400,000 to make one speech, while most of you work your lives and never equal up to that money. Playing by the rules. Life is valuable on a natural and cosmic level. It is artificial on a societal level. That's the reason why society has so many contradictions in it. We celebrate a society of peer pressure. When we're a social species, shouldn't we be having a society? Wouldn't it be better if society was a peer support society? And I've already come up with the ideal financial society for us. That would be way better than capitalism. But that would be too long of a video. I'm just gonna have to write that. Well, I've already written it. It's just a matter of me putting all of the notes in the correct order. But that was like first I doubted religion, then I went about discovering and learning about the financial system and realized that it was a zero-sum game. There was no winners. It's self-cannibalizing. Even the rich don't even realize, but you know what? They may realize it, that they're going nowhere. Eventually they will, because of greed, because of this need to feel above other people, this privilege, this pathetic artificial self-esteem in which they value themselves based on how many people gawk at their money. That's why I say if you ignore the rich, they would feel what they really are worth. You are enriched already based on the value you create for yourself and others. Are you helping your children to be the best children they can be? Are you helping yourself to be the best you can be? Are you increasing your power bar? You see what I'm saying? Is that all? You know, and I think that should be enough on this video. I hope I've established what real value, actual value is. Don't let money be what you think is determining your self-worth. That is their way of controlling you. Society has made sure that you have to rely on money by also attaching it to your to your needs: food, clothes, and shelter. That's what but those things are already freely given to you by nature. With clothes, of course, we have to make those, but you shouldn't have to pay for those. Each person can play their part in society. That's how that's supposed to really go. That's how and I'll give the Bible it's, what is it? A man's worth is what he does. You know what I mean? I forgot the Bible verse in the Bible, but when I attack Christianity, I'm not saying that the whole Bible is wrong. It's just most of it is wrong. Most of it is a control mechanism, but there are also, remember, within every good lie is a tidbit of truth, which is what gives the lie credibility. So they have tidbits of truths in there. Like when they say there is a God. Now, is there a Jesus, Holy Ghost? No. All that's a fallacy. And when I say God, there's multiple engineers. I'm talking about engineers who schemed the universe, who came up with the blueprints and manifested it, the universe. Like, they're the ones who created this whole system of value. That's why our minds is not just when I say a calculating machine, you know what a calculator does? It's evaluating. It is determining values. It is quantifying. That's what it's all about. We are all going through life. And the reason why while you're in life that you're priceless is because nature is constantly giving us a chance to increase our value. but it also gives us the freedom of increasing our value. Just like in society, you're free. They tell you freedom, but what kind of freedom are we in? It's a degenerative freedom. We've all been forced to be fanatics. They ship the jobs overseas and give you welfare. And what's welfare? It's a way for you to, that you think, oh, well, yeah, they're helping me out with my basic needs. No, they're not. What welfare is a way to keep you undervalued while you have to gawk and worship those with money. That's the reason why you have so many celebrities now. It's an explosion in celebrity since the 70s. When before the 70s, there was only so many celebrities. Now you've got celebrities for everything. They've turned us into a world of fanatics. They want us to fanaticize about religion, fanaticize about Jesus, when Jesus wasn't even into money. I don't know what Bible prosperity preachers are talking about, but I will debate them all day on that one. Jesus was never into money. Give Caesar what is Caesar's. That's the quote unquote in the Bible. Meaning give Caesar's coin, which had his face on it, back to Caesar. Jesus already let you know that money is worthless. You are the value. That is the reason why he said give Caesar back what is his. Because without money, Caesar would have no self-worth. You are controlled by this artificial value called money that I've already proven to you earlier in this video is no use without you. A country is no use without its people. You see what I'm saying? The rich are, that's the reason why I said there will never be a World War III. There'll never be an all-out nuclear strike as long as rich people control the bombs. You know the only way that there'll be an all-out nuclear strike is if the rich realize that we the people have stopped paying attention to them and giving them our attention, giving them our applause, giving them fanaticism. Stop fanaticizing over them. Like, do you see how pathetic these people are? That's the whole point of being rich, is because we need people to be rich to. Rich people need someone to be rich to. Without someone to be rich to, what would be the point to being rich? You think, like I said, the guy on the deserted island with all his money is a lonely person. Is a lonely person. Increase your value on a natural level. Help others. Build value for yourself. Help yourself. Teach yourself skills. Teach yourself, learn, educate yourself. Remember, we're in the information age. Knowledge is a button. Study history. Study the philosophers. Or you're doomed to repeat history. We're doomed to repeat mistakes, which makes you wonder. Remember, capitalism is not about solving problems, but continuing them. So, is it any wonder why so many of us in this country don't know the history of the country? Could it be that the government wants to keep repeating the same mistakes? Could it be that they want you to keep repeating the same mistakes? Could it be that they never want you to realize your true value? And unfortunately, if the preachers aren't teaching this, they're a part of it. The church is a part of this. It all goes back to who benefits from suffering. Who benefits from people suffering? Who benefits from this system going on? That's the reason why they don't, like I said, it doesn't matter how they sacrifice. They look at life as priceless because they've attached an artificial value to our lives. Excuse me, they look at life as worth nothing. They think, oh, well, here comes another generation. People are going to keep having sex, keep making babies, so we can kill whoever. They're not really valuable. When really this person is capable, every person is capable of greatness. Every person is capable of wondrous acts. But if that is never instilled in them, then that's why we have the country thinking that everyone is only a piece of crap. The only time that they're worth something when they have money. And if you have money, people are only valuing you for what you can do for them. That's the reason why you have relationships where people, instead of relating, are only in the relationship, are engaging in the relationships based on what the other person can do for them. Exclusively on that. No one wants to improve. That's why you got all these women posting these. It's the weirdest thing in the world to hear this. I see women constantly post on Facebook how a guy needs to accept them for all their bitchiness and all their evil tendencies and pathology. No, that's a woman seeking an easy excuse not to improve. Who wants to be with someone like that? You're never going to grow. You just want to be you and you want someone to accept you for that, and that's why you're lonely. The same thing with a man. Man, you don't want a man that does not seek to improve. You know what I mean? That's the reason why you have these women who chase men with money. What ends up happening with that? Yeah, the man ends up buying a whole bunch of stuff, but you're still lonely. You realize that he's only valuing you based on what you can do for him sexually. Unless you're bringing finances, but then you wouldn't be chasing after him if you had finances. You'd be chasing after the person that actually you loved and bonded and gives you fulfillment. I could do this all day, man. You know what I mean? But remember, you're valuable, and what is valuable? Valuable is something that produces every time you go to it. It produces a resounding value, a resounding quality. It's timeless, like Socrates' Socratic method, or David Hume's skepticism, or Rene Descartes' Cartesian method of doubt. That's the reason why I gravitated to these things, these concepts, because I realized that they were of resounding value. And that's the reason why I declare myself the smartest man in the world, because I realize that currently is my value, because no one else wants to see outside of artificial, warped, removed from reality lifestyle that we live as a human society. Everyone is just seeking to escape and lowering their power bar. The reason why you're bored, the reason why you escape boredom, seeking to escape boredom, the reason why even becomes boring to you after a while, is because you realize that you are to be creating value for yourself. Without that, you will continue to degenerate, self-degenerate, and devalue. Enjoy your day. Axiom TV, subscribe. If you find value in the things that I'm saying, I'm not telling you to send me money. I'm telling you to just subscribe and share these videos. Don't be selfish. Go out there, and you are of worth. Don't let artificial capitalistic economy and money tell you that it is more valuable than you. Don't let the politicians and the rich people tell you that they're more valuable than you. You are the elite. They are the cowards and the degenerates of society. They are the cancers. The rich have no real value but to be parasites in society. They have to go.